Hey, what is up, my YouTube homies? I battle here against deinoman09, a first-time challenger, and I believe this is a mixed tier match, but I don't exactly remember the tiering specifications, but let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, our team's there, so we're both using some pretty interesting Pokemon, including I'm using Togetic, which is a Pokemon that somebody keeps asking for every time they come to the stream. And I can't remember who it is, and it wasn't even this time, but I'm going to make that guy happy and use Togetic. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and lead with Mamoswine. He's going to go ahead and lead with his Ninetales, which is the Alola version. So we know what it's probably going to do. It's probably going to set up its Aurora Veil, or whatever it's called, which is basically Reflect and Light Screen both in one, but it has to be set up in the Hail. It is pretty much Ninetale Alola's main main point that makes it actually interesting, or main reason people use it. Because obviously having Reflect and Light Screen up are really, really nice. So he's going to go ahead and set up the Nasty Plot. It's going to go out into my Typhlosion, and I'm really hoping that an Eruption will be able to do good damage to this guy, because obviously the super effectiveness. So I just go for it, and as you can see, man, that Aurora Veil, really strong, a super effective Eruption at nearly full HP. Not able to one-hit KO this Alolan Ninetales, and it's in red HP. Now, he doesn't want to risk dying to the second one, although, honestly, I don't even know if I'd be able to kill it. Probably would be able to, just barely. So he is going to go out into his Ampharos as I just go for another one, although that's not going to do anything, because Ampharos is not weak to fire, and I'm also taking damage, which will weaken the power of my Eruption. So, going to go ahead and switch out, and I go out into my Mamoswine against this guy, which means, well, I'm not going to be affected by the hail, so that's pretty good. I think I'm carrying a Focus Sash because it's supposed to be just a lead Mamoswine. He's going to go ahead and Mega Evolve, and he does go for the Thunderbolt, which is what I was predicting. So that's pretty good, because obviously he's not going to be able to do anything to me. So I decided just to go for the Icicle Crash because it is super effective against Mega Ampharos. I'm hoping to KO here, but unfortunately it's not going to be able to do it. And I'm going to be able to take a Focus Blast to the face thanks to my Focus Sash. So I already set up Stealth Rock, so I'm thinking, what do I want to do? Do I want to try to go for a different move or predict a switch? He ends up just going to his Ninetales anyway, which is just going to die to the Stealth Rocks I set up in the first turn. So, yeah, my decision ultimately really didn't matter. I just decided to go for the Icicle Crash anyway. But yeah. In comes Bear Sonic, and I could have actually probably killed that Mega Ampharos with Earthquake, but I was predicting a switch, perhaps, and that's the reason I decided to go for the Icicle Crash. Either way, he's, like I said, going to go into his Ursaring, and his Aurora Veil is still up, so he's not going to take that much from Earthquake, and he's going to be able to get up a Swords Dance, and obviously he's going to be able to activate his ability, which is Quick Feet with the Toxic Orb, which effectively gives him +2 attack and +2 speed, making him incredibly dangerous, and he's just going to go for the Facade to finish off my Mamoswine. Thankfully, I'm able to do enough damage to this Ursaring that it's in red HP, and with the Toxic Poison on it, he's not going to have a whole lot of turns left. Not to mention, I have the Stealth Rocks up, so if he does switch out, assuming he has no way to get rid of them, yeah, he's not going to be... He basically has one more turn left on that Ursaring, because he does decide to switch out into this guy, his Mudsdale, which is clearly... Well, it does set pretty well. I'm thinking that it's going to be Assault Vest, because well, it took it. Then again, I didn't really have a lot of HP anyway, but this gives me some opportunity to go into my Tapu Bulu and some of the grassy terrain, which means I should be able to take Earthquakes very well, but an excellent prediction on his part, going for the Heavy Slam, predicting Tapu Bulu, and as you can see, while Tapu Bulu lives it, it does not take that well. Mudsdale is one of the heaviest Pokemon in the game, and I'm just going to hope that he's going to stay in, but no, he makes a very good play. Going into the Mandibuzz in on my Choice Banded Hornleech, which would have been able to get a lot of HP back on the Mudsdale. Unfortunately, yeah, this guy is a physical wall. Well, actually, it's more like a mixed wall, because I think he's EV to be especially bulky, this Mandibuzz. Not to mention, it carries the Rocky Helmet, which will further do some damage, so I don't get a whole lot of HP back, but it's enough that I'm confident I might be able to get Bulu back in and maybe get it some HP back, but definitely a nice prediction on his part as I go into Togetic, which I'm hoping will pretty much wall this Mandibuzz and threaten him with Dazzling Gleam, which is the best move, the only attacking move I have on this Togetic. It's more of a Cleric Togetic, and I just go for the Dazzling Gleam, which will KO his incoming Ampharos. So, yeah. He's going to go on to his Mr. Mime now, which I'm actually not 100% sure what to expect from this thing. So I decide just to stay in and see what he's going to do. He ends up just going for a Calm Mind, though, which, yeah, makes some sense as he tries to set up. And I decide to go for a Roost, like I said, just to see what he would do. Probably should have expected him to set up like that, but for some reason, just not. So, gonna go ahead and switch out. I decide to go out into my Snorlax, who obviously has good special defense, as he goes for another Calm Mind, so now he has +2. And I'm like, you know what? Guess what I decided to bring? The Snorlax with the best Z move of all time right now coming at you. You can Side Shock all you want. You know what? It's going against my normal defense, so it's going to do some damage. But even at +2, Snorlax takes that like a champ. And you are about to get pulverized, sir. I don't care if you mime. I don't care if you're a Mr. or Mrs. You're not going to be able to live a pulverizing pancake from a beast like Snorlax. So in comes the pulverizing pancake, and that Mr. Mime is like, what's going on here? He has no idea what's about to befall him. And it is literally a nuclear missile the size of a giant fat person. And that is Snorlax. So in comes Mandibuzz again, after, there's little bits and pieces of Mr. Mime on the arena floor and walls and ceiling. He's just going to go ahead and Roost, I guess, to see what I would do. I decide, actually, to just go for a Giga Impact, which is the move that Pulverizing Pancake has to use. I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't do that, although the Roost was kind of obvious. And now I lost a turn as he gets to get off another Roost. Actually, he probably could have just killed me here. If he... Well, maybe not. A Foul Play would have done a lot of damage, though. I'm going to go ahead and switch out. No, he goes for the Foul Play here, and I decide to go for a Rest before switching out. He does go for a Foul Play. As you can see, that wouldn't kill me, but it would have 2-hit KO'd me, I think, from that point. So, he did trade a KO here on Snorlax for, or a potential one for that Roost, which is fine. I do have, like I said, my Togetic is a Cleric, so even though I rested, I know that I can just go into that and get off the heal bell to get, wake myself up. Anyway, in comes this guy again, this Mudsdale, and my Togetic does not want to stay in and take a Heavy Slam. I decided to go into my Metagross, which should be able to take the Heavy Slam pretty nicely, since Metagross is also pretty darn heavy, and not to mention has the resistance, and as you can see, it does less, or just a little over 11 damage in total. And I'm just going to go for the Meteor Mash, hoping to do a little more than that. I know that the Earthquake is probably coming, but I don't really want to risk switching out into anything, so it's pretty much going to kill Metagross. But I did get some crucial damage on this Mudsdale, which has no way to reliably recover its HP. So I know that it will obviously be withered down to a point that pretty much anything can revenge kill it, I hope, at this point. So I'm just going to go back into Tapu Bulu. I was so close to hitting Stone Edge here, which I really should have done, but I knew that Stone Edge probably wouldn't kill the Mudsdale. So I'm like, I'm just going to go for the Horn Leech, thinking that he might stay in and sack it off. Turns out he does go into Mandibuzz, so that's going to suck, because obviously I'm not going to be able to do that much, although a Stone Edge would have killed it. But what can you do, as this guy, yeah, I got some HP back yet again, but Tapu Bulu not getting as much HP back as he would like. Gonna go back into Togetic, knowing that he probably has nothing to do to me, and the best he has is this Brave Bird, and he clearly is not invested in his attacking stat. As you can see, it does less than a quarter to Togetic, so I know I can take that very, very well, and hit him with the super effective Dazzling Gleam, which I'm hoping will do enough to at least do a little bit more than the Roost. However, looks like I'm doing a little less than the Roost, which is really bad, actually, because Dazzling Gleam has the same base PP as Roost, so he could potentially stall me, although I'm confident that he has nothing to do to me either. That Brave Bird damage is going to be threatening to him as well due to the recoil, and is not even enough for a KO me. Plus, I have Roost as well, and at this point in the game, he is confident trying to PP stall a little bit to get HP back. As you can see, he's going to get off that Roost to get back to full HP, and you're going to see how much Dazzling Gleam does from full here in a minute, and as you can see, it's doing about 33%, so not the amount of damage I needed to do. So the grassy terrain wears off, not that it was really doing anything in this, and yeah, he's just going to continue to Roost. And yeah, I don't even know what to do. Like I said, the only attacking move I have is Dazzling Gleam. I think he's already used Roost a couple times, so if it does come to that, I'm pretty sure I have more Dazzling Gleam than he does Roost. I decided to switch out into my Typhlosion anyway, hopefully maybe to break the stall here. He does go for the Roost again, and I figure if I can make him waste a Roost on something that's not a Dazzling Gleam, it'll give me the edge in the PP stall war that's about to befall us. I decided to just go for a Fire Blast. It is stabbed. It actually does a little bit less than half to this Mandibuzz, which makes me think this Mandibuzz is actually EV'd specially defensively, although it has excellent defensive stats in both regards. But yeah, he's just going to continue to roost. But like I said, I'm forced to use a roost on something not a dazzling gleam, so that's going to help me. Like I said, they both max out at 16 PP. Plus, if I get a dazzling gleam crit, that'll also put me in position to maybe 2-hit KO, force him to use an extra roost on that particular dazzling gleam. But at this point, what was a very quick match in the beginning, now looking to be a bit of a stall because I really don't have anything else that can match up well against this Mandibuzz. I have my Tapu Bulu, who can't afford to take probably a foul play or a Brave Bird. And I also have my Snorlax, which can't really do anything to this Mandibuzz either. The only thing I really have is this Togetic. And now he's going to go ahead and use a turn to Tailwind, which I guess he figures will help him conserve Roost PP. Now, I'm going to go for the Heal Bell to wake up Snorlax. It's about time I do that, and he is going to go ahead and switch into this guy, his Mudstail. I don't know why I forgot that Pokemon's name for a second. And now that goes through the Dazzling Gleam, and he's at a sliver of health after that, so he is going to die to another hit. I decided to actually go into Snorlax, though, because I don't want to waste another Dazzling Gleam PP. I know that he's pretty much trying to stall Dazzling Gleam PP as much as I'm trying to stall his Roost PP. So instead I just go into Snorlax. I know I won't take much from a Heavy Slam, being that I'm already really heavy. He does carry Close Combat, which is going to hurt a lot, but obviously I'm going to be able to get the KO here with Crunch, which will take down the Mudsdale, and that's pretty legit. So in come his Mandibuzz again, which I believe is one of his 2 remaining Pokemon. His other Pokemon is the Ursaring from earlier, who only has like a turn left. I'm hoping that Snorlax will be able to live a foul play, but we already know how much it does, and it really can't. So I was hoping to get off another rest, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And I'm just going to go right back into Togetic again, and he's just going to continue going for the Roost. And for those counting at home, he does have, I believe, 1 or 2 less, I think 2 less Roost at this point than I have Dazzling Gleams. So you're kind of starting to see how this battle is going to unfold. Now, he is going to try to, for some reason, go out into Ursaring. I mean, I guess he's going out into it here. Like I said, to make me waste a Dazzling Gleam, which is a good play because he figures that he can win against Tapu Bulu one-on-one, which really depends on who's faster, which I believe, unless he's invested in speed, I would be. But yeah, it would be it would come down to EVs, which may or may not be my favorite. Mandibuzz actually isn't an extremely slow Pokemon. He's base 80, so he can actually outspeed Tapu Bulu's, as long as, who has a base speed 75, so long as it's a little bit invested. So I know that this Mandibuzz could potentially outspeed my Tapu Bulu, so Togetic, I really need to be able to finish off this off with Togetic. If I can, although I only have 1 attacking move, and it's starting to drain my PP. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. And, I told myself I would speed this up in the YouTube vid, but, I'm not. We're gonna just see how it unfolds. It is a little bit faster than, obviously, the normal game. You can only imagine how tense the stream was at this point. Like, wait, what? Oh, man. Can we just, someone forfeit so we can get to the next battle? You know, things like that. But no, we're going to play this out. And I like his tenacity, never die attitude. And here comes a Brave Bird. I think he's actually out of them now. Out of those roosts. So I do have a Dazzling Gleam left. It's not going to be able to quite take out the Mandy. And yeah, he's going to go for the Brave Bird here, which I kind of thought was kind of giving up. But he doesn't know, he wasn't counting, he doesn't realize I'm also out of Dazzling Gleam, which means he has a sliver of health left. And like I said, if he can kill Tapu Bulu, now with a resisted foul play, although keep in mind I'm a banded Bulu, so obviously I have a massive amount of attack, he might be able to kill me with a resisted foul play. I'm worried about it enough that I don't want to risk switching out into Bulu at all. So it's really about who has the most PP here. Now, I think, looking at our moves, I should be able to PP stall him until he struggles, but that would just be really bad. But he's gonna go for it. Eventually, though, just slight spoiler alert, he's gonna realize that he can't win and eventually just run. Although I don't know why he would have just Brave Birded, which would have ended the match as well. But he decided to run, which is fine. But yeah, that was a good game there, deinoman09. I definitely like the tenacity. You know, even if you have to stall, Go for the win, man. Go for the win. And today's question of the day is going to have to deal with your least favorite Pokemon game, and that can be either a spin-off or a main series game. It's up to you. As for me, it's really hard to say. I mean, I've played a lot of bad Pokemon games, usually spin-offs, but I'm gonna have to say probably my least favorite Pokemon game of all time would probably be Hey You Pikachu for the Nintendo 64. Probably partly because Pikachu is probably one of my least favorite Pokemon ever. Now, granted, the actually the microphone controls and the premise of the game was groundbreaking at the time and pretty interesting in its own right. But not only was the main character Pikachu, but the few times I played it at my cousin's house and my friend's house, it just seemed kind of boring. I didn't get the point. Like, there was really very few goals. It just seemed like a sandbox game in which you control this yellow mouse for some reason. So leave a comment about that, and see you guys again next time. Later.